mean, y'all can see what we're making there. We're pushing 300 bushel in places. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Ruth Farms. As y'all can see here behind me, we got our Ford spreader truck. This is what we spread our chicken litter with on our fields. We've got it out here behind us. I have been doing a little work on it. We've got a little more work to do to it. Wanted to apologize just real briefly about kind of my lack of videos, lack of content here lately. My wireless microphone, I've been having issues with it. Hopefully we've got that issue resolved, but hopefully y'all can hear me good. Working around this equipment like this without a wireless microphone, it's tough to get audio that y'all can hear and it be any bit clear at all. And I don't want to do a lot of videoing and show you guys a lot of things and y'all can't hear it. But needless to say, here we are, we're working on the spreader truck. Yesterday, I had to pull this bearing off back here. That is our shaft for our chain. This bearing had went out. Just for the record, when we put this new chain in it, this bearing over here was out. I put a new one over here, and Coleman told me at that time that I needed to replace that one. But it looked fine, bearing was good, and it was greasable. I kept it greased, and here within a season it went out. So Coleman was right. So there's proof that I am willing to admit that I'm wrong sometimes. But anyway, I got a new bearing for that. It's like 80 bucks at our local bearing store, which honestly is kind of shocking as big as this bearing is, because this thing is huge. It is made in China. That's a big old bearing. It's a 2-inch shaft, and I mean, as y'all can tell compared to my hand, that's a big old plate. How they make that for 80 bucks, I'd love to know. But we also got, I've had last year the hose that runs from right here on my spinner motors up there to the valve. It was leaking. The end down here had a bad place on the swivel. So anyway, got that replaced yesterday. Hopefully fix our leaks, and we got to put some oil, some hydraulic oil in the system because it was leaking because of that. But hopefully that will get this issue resolved, and then hopefully we can get spreading our chicken litter on what is going to be our wheat ground here very soon. So let's get this thing put back together and get to work. This shaft here is a little bit goobered up. If y'all can see on the end, I attempted to ground it smooth here. What happened was when we had the chain issue with our chain broke last year, and it had been done before me, but people put pipe wrenches on right here to help turn the chain, and just kind of boogered this end up. Well, I couldn't ever get this bearing off. It was locked on there tight, so we just torched it off. But I'm gonna do my best to clean this shaft up just as good as possible, make that bearing go on easy, and then hopefully if we ever have to have it back off again, it'll be a little easier coming off. Probably put a little anti-seize on there as well. So I'm gonna get that cleaned up and let's get this bearing installed. And before somebody in the comments says that, yes, I'm sure a flap wheel on a grinder is probably not the professional way to clean this up, but this shaft has no real meaning. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfectly exactly round and everything else. It doesn't matter. It's literally a bearing holding a shaft that's holding a chain that carries poop out the back of the machine. Perfect. got everything installed here. We got our bearing put on. I went ahead and greased it, and I went ahead and painted it black. That way it won't rust. This is chicken litter, so it is very corrosive. We also got our new hose on down here. I painted it in the new fitting. And as you guys can see, we've got it in this Kevlar wrap. That is to help prevent abrasion between the hoses. It's also helped to prevent some decaying of the rubber from sunlight. And we also painted the end up here on this valve, as y'all can see, just to help prevent some corrosion. Because like I said, this is chicken litter, it is corrosive. And unfortunately, it's hard to get it all off at the end of the year. But anyway, we got a bunch of chicken litter spread. We got about 50 to 60 acres of wheat, and then the remainder of that will be oats. So we gotta get all that spread and get that stuff planted here behind our corn. This cylinder right here is gonna need rebuilding. Y'all can tell it's kind of oily, but I'm trying to just let it go as long as we can. I don't really know why it wouldn't take as long to rebuild it. Anyway, just one of the things I don't really want to get into right now, and it'll probably give up on us one day while we're spreading, but luckily Coleman and I can rebuild cylinders, so all we'll have to do is go get a kit and we can throw it together and be done with that one. But yeah, I think she is about ready to go to the field. May have to charge the batteries. The batteries did draw down after about 4 or 5 months of sitting here. So we'll figure that out. But the old truck is ready to haul some duty. Afternoon, guys. We are in the cornfield here. Been hauling chicken litter to some fields here the last couple days, and we had one load too many for the other field, so we brought it here, dumped it in this field we're shelling corn on. This is going to wheat, so I've loaded it up. If y'all can tell on top of the spreader there, there's a lot of corn stalks on top. We'll get them slung out. Everything else we're hauling is right down the road. So I've got to take the skid steer back down there, drop it off. That way we'll have our dump truck here. Coleman's in the combine running it right now. He's probably about got a truckload shelled probably. I don't know if y'all can see him coming down through there. Finishing up this decab corn right now. That way we can get started on spreading chicken litter and getting our wheat planted here. Setting this thing up to set it on task, getting it filmed. You're pretty much already done now. Alright, might as well set it to the other one. Still 300 bushel here. What other one? You talking about back to the decab? Yeah. A little dusty here, y'all. Y'all can tell we're finishing that decab. It's 6835 because this has a white cob. So all of our bees wings, which is the little dust stuff you see floating, all those are white, whereas most typical corn hybrids are red. We have definitely noticed the corn is harder to get off the white cob than the red cob, but that decab has yielded really well for us on this farm. We had about probably 13 or 14 acres here where y'all can see this corn has stopped here all the way down there till y'all can see the combine, and then y'all can see a little bit there on the corner. That's still the decab over there on the corner. Been a very, very strong yielder for us. We've had some issues with our yield monitor. It needed a software update, and we lost a little data. But I'm gonna try to get it all figured in once we get the bin filled. I'm pretty sure we're averaging 220 plus bushel to the acre with it, which I am very happy with. Now the rest of this corn over here is a mixture of NK 1082, there's a Pioneer 1289, and a Revere 1307. I think it's gonna be decent corn, but it's not gonna be near as good as this decab. But yeah, it was planted later and it's still not quite ready. But yeah, we're gonna get this truck loaded here. We're gonna go unload it in our bins, and then we may go ahead and start shelling some more. We're trying to finish this hybrid up. That'll open up all this 13 or so acres for us to get chicken litter spread on and wheat planted on here very soon, because I think it's like October 7th now, and it's getting just about time to start putting some winter wheat in the ground here. Rain chances tomorrow, kind of small chances, but there are some chances. So see what goes on. But so far we are really enjoying the 986 with the duals and the cart. It's been a real big help. We can shell 500 to 400 bushel there. We can fill the dump truck up, and then the combine will hold somewhere around 250 bushels. So, and I know I've had several folks asking me why we're not using the Peterbilt. We are using it to haul to the market. However, it is too big to fit into where our grain bins are right now. It's a pretty good hill. Either way you come in or go out of it. We're scared to go down the hill loaded, which it's just not gonna happen. And I don't think we could go up it and unload and then get out. It's just so steep. However, I'm hoping here in a couple years maybe to build us a bin or two at a different site where we can actually get the Peterbilt in and use it. Now our soybeans, we did use the Peterbilt to haul them. We hauled 2 loads straight out of the field, kind of catch up on some bills that we owed on. We owed a little bit on some fertilizer and then a little bit on seed, or chemicals really. But anyway, we got the 2 loads of soybeans hauled. We got all that paid for. So probably everything else soybean wise we'll put in our bins until later. We've just about got our corn bin full. It'll hold somewhere around 35 to 4,000 bushel. We just about got it full, and we're gonna start hauling out of it. Our corn has been a little moist. We've been running 16 to 18%, but I put it in that bin and we've been running fans on it pretty constant. So yeah, hopefully it's about dry, and as soon as we get done hauling our wheat out of our bins, we will be able to haul it off, some of it off anyway. We're gonna fill our 1 bin up, and then we're gonna keep enough for bagging, and then everything else will go to market now, and we'll try our lucks at the lotteries of maybe making a little extra money this winter holding our grain. All right, guys, we're gonna get started here. We got the truck unloaded there, so we shelled 1 straight truck load this evening, probably somewhere around 380, 400 bushels. Coleman shelled in just a few minutes. It don't take us long, and we're overwhelmed by what we can handle. We're starting in here. Coleman was shelling the decab. It's a little bit wetter than I would like, so I'm gonna hop up here. I pulled a few ears off of this field right here. Part of this on this hill, I don't know if it's disease pressure or what, but we got some tops of the stalks starting to fall down, and when I pulled a few of the ears, they were like 13%, so it was real dry corn. So I'm gonna shell off a little bit of this here, and we might shell a little of this and shell a little of that decab, try to kind of mix it together. Our local facility where we're going to be selling it at is a chicken facility. They raise chickens, so this will be ground for chicken feed, and we can sell up to 16%, and between 15.5% and 16% we take a 3.5 cent dockage. So if we're 15.5 or below, we don't take any dockage. like I said, if it's above 15.5, between that and 16, we take 3.5 cents off of a bushel, which isn't bad to me. That ain't bad at all. But a lot of this that we've been shelling has been 16 to 18, and we've been putting it in our grain bin, and been keeping air blowing on it, and I think we're getting it dry. I hope anyway. We blow it on there 2, 3, 4 days, and I think it's getting dry. We'll find out. We hauled a load of our winter wheat off from this summer. We hauled a load of it off here a couple days ago, and we had one that we were able to get past as milling wheat, and then the second load we failed for our falling numbers, which is got to do with the rate or something of which the flour rises. And anyway, we failed with it, so we've got our truck loaded with wheat right now, waiting on a local facility that'll use it for hog feed, waiting for them to get opened back up, which they should here in just a few days. We're hoping. Let's see, today's Tuesday, we're hoping we can haul that off Thursday, and then we're hoping to have some of this corn ready, because we only have one grain bin that we can put corn in. We can hold about 4,000 bushels, give or take, and yeah, we're going to fill it up all we can in it, and then everything else will sell. But my hope is we can use that bin right now, put some of this a little bit more moist corn in, dry it down a little bit, and then let's haul it off and sell it, and then just keep filling it up. And we're going to eventually get down to some really dry corn, I'm sure, before we get done, because our first 2 patches we planted somewhere respectfully around 15 acres and 10 acres. They were planted about 3 weeks apart, and then we have about 40 or so acres that was planted within the same week. So we're going to have a lot of corn should be dry around the same time. And I kind of planned that way. That way we'd have time to get it out of the field in case of bad weather, and also for our deer corn business. This corn we're on right here, y'all can see it looks kind of poor. This is actually new ground. So this is ground that had trees on it last year. They cleared it off, and we put a bunch of chicken litter to it. We worked the ground in with the chicken litter, got it incorporated. We done that last fall, and then we also came in here this spring and put another heavy dose. And I mean, considering how bad this corn looks, y'all look at that yield monitor. Honestly, that's amazing to me that we're producing that much. And this yield monitor is pretty close. I'm not going to swear that it's exactly right, because we're not weighing every truckload, but it ain't far off. But y'all look at them numbers. That's crazy for new ground, in my opinion. The old 9500 though is getting the tank, getting the sample pretty clean back there. I'm pretty tickled with it. Keeping that auger full up there. Hopefully our moisture is about right. That's showing 16 to 17, and I think that's probably pretty close. I'm pretty tickled though with this corn. I was afraid this NK hybrid wouldn't be any good, because this is the same brand hybrid that we planted earlier that you guys have seen, and we averaged 85 bushels the acre. But this is a kind of a tried and true variety for them. It's kind of a workhorse, from what I understand. It ain't gonna be your best corn, but it's gonna do pretty good on anything you put it on. And I believe that's gonna be the case, because right now we're back onto some existing farm ground here. But I mean, that's pretty daggone good numbers for our land anyway. I'm not going to complain. It's not the decab 6835, but I tell you one thing, I was hoping it would average 150, and I mean, y'all can see there we're climbing all the time at 172, so very tickled. Y'all can compare this to the 1082. This is literally planted right beside it the exact same day, within probably 30 minutes of what you just saw me plant. This is a decab 6835. Now this is an in-row, which I mean, most people say the in-rows aren't going to make as good as as you get on into the field anyway. But I mean, y'all can see what we're making there. We're pushing 300 bushel in places along an in-row. Now this corn is definitely wetter, as y'all can see there. It's a 118 day variety versus 113, but I'm trying to kind of mix this wet in with some of that dry and see if we can kind of blend it out a little bit in the truck. I know next year not to plant two hybrids like this, especially don't plant the later day hybrid on the end row, because it makes it really interesting as far as getting in here to combine the earlier hybrid, which is up here. But we're getting there, and this is a phenomenal corn right here. I've heard a lot of people say good and bad about Decaf 6835, but I'm telling you one thing, it's been a winner on our farm. I don't know, I'm sure it can be really great and really bad, just like any corn variety, but I'll tell you, it's been strong on ours. I mean, look at that, we're pushing 290 here on this end row. This is some very tall corn, and I'll tell you, we didn't get a fungicide applied on this corn, but this Decaf 6835, it stayed way greener, way longer than anything else. So I think the disease package they have on this corn is superior. I think it's really good. We're just about full here. Coleman's just pulling back in. He had to sell a little bit of hay this evening. He'll bring me the grain cart here shortly, I hope. Coleman's headed here. He's got the grain cart up there. My window's terribly dirty, I'm sorry y'all. This right here, that little patch y'all see, that's where the air's blowing on the window there. I believe we've got our air conditioning fixed on the 9500. We found a couple leaks. The little valves over here beside us where you put Freon in, they were leaking just a little bit, but I mean, it wasn't bad. But I think what was going on was our condenser back there on the back, it was so stopped up, like I had never seen one as stopped up as this one. I would take and blow through it as much as I could, then I would take and pressure wash it, and then blow through it and pressure wash it. I bet I washed for a good hour, and I mean, still getting junk out. But I think what was happening is we'd run a while, and our high pressure would get so high that it would relieve the pressure relief valve back there on the compressor, and it would leak our Freon out. And I believe that because now that we cleaned it out, it hasn't leaked. And I mean, we haven't just shelled just a ton of acres, but we've shelled probably getting pretty close to 20 acres now, and we've still got really cold air conditioning. I mean, it's not cold out or hot out right now, but it's fairly warm outside. I'm running on the lowest fan setting, and I'm cold right now. I could turn it off and be fine, but I am leaving it running. But anyway, Coleman's got here with our grain cart, and we're gonna load her up and keep shelling. We got probably another 2 acres over here or something, and this earlier stuff will be done. Well, we got a cart full, my bin is full, and this field is done, or this part of the field, that over there that you see was planted a little later, and is not quite ready yet. So we're going to, I think Coleman's going to try to take what's in the cart home and put it in a shed. Like I said earlier, there's a chance to rain tonight and tomorrow, and I'm gonna dump this into the truck, and we'll put it in the bin. But I think what's in the cart is dry enough to take on straight to market. I think what we'll do is we'll put it in the bottom of the trailer, and then we will unload the rest, unload another 400 or 500 bushels out of the bin into there. I'm afraid what's happening, I'm afraid that corn that's on the bottom of the bin is probably going to be getting really dry, whereas this corn that we're putting in on top that's a little bit more moist is not going to be getting dry. I've got a little issue with my combine. We're going to have to figure out, well, we got a couple, I guess, but one, really, we're going to have to figure out my auger. If y'all can see it in the mirror back there, my auger's not folding in all the way. I'm not sure why, but it's going to be hard to put it in the shed with it folded partially out. So we're going to get it back to the house, and I'm going to grease the ever living crap out of it. I had a couple guys recommend that in the John Deere group, and I don't know, we'll see what goes on. Afternoon, guys, welcome back to the field. Coleman here behind me, as y'all can see, coming up here is in the 9500 John Deere, or 6-row 30-inch header, laying a hurting on this Revere 1307 here in central North Carolina. here behind him, see how the combine's doing. I think we've about got her dialed in. We've got it just a little tight on the rotor, or on the cylinder rather. There y'all can see there's one kernel right there and one there. Pretty good. This is some pretty good corn here. This is Revere 1307. We're starting to get over here towards the end where it's going to start slacking off a little bit, but we got some pretty nice size ears there, as y'all can see. For the most part, this is probably averaging in the 170s. I haven't rode in it in the last little while. Coleman's been shelling some. I'm back here behind him on the 30-20, trying to catch up with him with a bush hog. We're coming in here, and y'all can see all these stalks that are still standing. We're getting rid of all of these stalks, chopping them down. Makes the field look better. Will help all that stuff break up better. And when we come in here and spread chicken litter here very soon and start planting our wheat into it, we don't have all those big stalks to contend with. Y'all can tell how much better this that we bush hog looks than what we have not. I got 30-20 out here hooked to the bush hog. I know some of y'all are probably wondering where the 806 is. Well, she broke down. Coleman was using it. I think it was the day before yesterday. Today is Friday. I think it was Wednesday, I think. He was bush hogging corn stalks with it. Said it started getting warm and he kind of stopped, let it cool off. He cut it off for a little while, come back to it, and it was smoking a lot of white smoke. So we believe either the head is cracked, got a warped head, head gasket's blown, something is wrong with the 806. So we had to bring out a John Deere to save the day. Not that this tractor doesn't have issues. I've got the load shaft on it, it's leaking, even though we just put brand new seals in it. But anyway, coming behind the combine with his 10-foot bush hog and just cleaning the path. Everything y'all can see from, if y'all can kind of tell from over here about where I'm pointing over, that's where we shelled that decab 6835. It's about 13 acres there. I went ahead and put chicken litter on that. That's already been spread, it's ready. Everything pretty much up to where we're at today has been spread. So once we get this spread, we got some rain hopefully coming in. I'm hoping tomorrow and Sunday to get some moisture back in the ground. We do have a little bit of moisture, but I would love to see a little bit more. But we need some moisture so we can get our wheat planted. We got about 50 acres here we're gonna plant in wheat. I'm gonna plant about 10 acres on another farm in oats, and that will be our spring/summer crop. And then we're gonna have somewhere around 75 to 80 acres of corn. It's kind of my ideal plan right now for next year, and then the rest of it will be beans. That all depends if we don't pick up any land or we don't lose any land, but as of right now, I think we've got all of our land for next year, hopefully. But so far, I'm very tickled with this corn. It's yielding, the places that I didn't think were going to yield real great are yielding a lot better than I thought. Now, we do have some new ground coming up here on the back side of this farm. I think there's about 7 acres back there that it's not going to make very good. I mean, if it can average 100 bushel to the acre, I'm going to be happy. That's stuff that had trees on it this time last year. And you know, it just takes time to get that ground back fertile again and get some living organisms in that ground. But Coleman's coming here again. I'm gonna try to get a couple neat little shots with my GoPro. We have been so busy trying just to keep caught up and keep going that I haven't got hardly anything on video. I did get a little drone footage the other day, but anyway, I'm gonna try to get some couple little shots here, and I'm gonna get back to bush hog and try to catch him. He's trying to get another truckload so he can get hauled off either tonight or to first thing tomorrow. And then yeah, we've hauled so far with our truck, we have hauled 2 loads of soybeans to Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is about a 2-hour journey. We have hauled 2 loads of wheat to Wilson's Mill, which is a milling company in Wilson's Mill, North Carolina. We got rejected on one of those loads. Our wheat, the falling numbers wasn't high enough for milling wheat. So we got rejected. Coleman had to bring that load back home, and then Thursday I guess yesterday morning, he hauled that to another place here in North Carolina for hog feed, and then he turned around, we loaded him up, and he took a load of corn to Candor, Mount Air Farms. They'll make chicken feed out of it, and then we loaded him up when he got home again, and he took that load this morning. So if we can get him loaded, that'll be 3 loads yesterday and today. So we're getting some of this corn moved. We've about got our bin full, so that's the reason we're selling it. We are getting a decent price. They've dropped some today. First load I sold for $4.95 a bushel, and I think this other's like $4.88 or something. But anyway, we get this cool video of Coleman coming down through here, and then we'll go from there. Jack and I here in the 9500, we are shelling some new ground here. If you guys remember back in the spring, I ran a root rake, a rock rake, over this ground. This ground was cleared last year. So this time last year, I think they'd already had it cleared, but they were, you know, it's been cleared for less than 18 months now. It had trees on it. And we went in here, we've done quite a bit of dirt work, getting some things smoothed out. This particular area needs some more now. We put lime on it, we put a bunch of chicken litter on it, and then I come in here this spring and put more chicken litter on it before we planted. And I mean, it's performing about the way I would expect to. It's pretty poor corn. I think I would have really done myself a lot better had I turned the planter back. Not thinking at the time, I left the population set to the same thing as I plant the rest of the field at, which is around at 29,000 seeds per acre. If I would have bumped this back to probably like 24,000 or something, we'd have probably had a lot better chance of higher yields. I'm going to guess this new ground was going to average maybe 100 bushel to the acre, maybe, and it may be a little slight less than that. I don't know. The yield monitor is actually showing some decent numbers in places, but there's also places that have like no cob at all. So I'm going to say it's going to average out pretty well. We're definitely dropping our field average down from what it was. It was up like 172 or 173 when I started, and we're down to below 169 now, which we've still got quite a bit of existing field left to go. I would say we've probably got somewhere close to 10 acres of good, or at least fairly good corn left. We are getting back here on kind of the hills back in here, which are a little less productive than like where our decab was, and where we had some Revere that Coleman was combining up here. But I still hope that that over there can average 160, 170, and maybe at least hold our average where it's at. at the beginning I was going to be tickled if everything on this farm averaged 150, and I'm pretty confident we're going to be well above that. I'm thinking we're going to be maybe close to 170 or 180 because this 168.5 that my yield monitor is showing right now, that is not including the decab 6835 that we cut first. I wanted to keep that plot separate from this. I really don't know why, because I could have went back in and looked at it on the yield map when I pull all this data off my yield monitor. But anyway, I've kept it on a separate file as this, mainly just so that I could see how good that corn was, and I didn't want to pull the average down of that, and I didn't want to take that good average and mix it with this, you know, not as good average. I kind of wanted to see what this corn that I didn't think was going to do as good average compared to that really good corn. And but anyway, you know, I'm still blessed. You know, if we would have had a very dry year, especially a drought year, this new ground would not have made anything, especially with me not doing it any favors by planting a pretty, well, really high population for poor ground. But anyway, we're slowly getting this knocked out. Once we get this knocked out, we're going to have some better corn to go through. We hopped over here into a little bit of corn here. Haven't quite finished up that over there yet, but we're getting close, and I was going to try to get this load full before it got dark. This right here is the Pioneer 1289, kind of hilly ground, and I mean, still yielding pretty darn good in my opinion. We just about got a full load here, finishing up where I left off the other day. But yeah, I'm pleased with this corn. Going to be definitely the best year I think I've ever had, probably all over. I mean, it's probably going to be close on average, but we've had some really good corn, and I mean, we've got, you know, 10, 12 acres of new ground mixed in with this, and the 8 acres over there that had all the drought issue, or I say drought issues, the heat issues stressed with it being during pollination, and that just did not turn out good at all. Overall in all though, we're going to have a really good year, I think. I mean, we're going to be well above the county average with all the bad things that we've had happen. And all the, you know, the new ground. I don't really know what to expect out of new ground. I think I could have had better corn had I lowered that population, but you know, you live and you learn. We should be making enough off of that to probably break even on those acres, and the rest of the acres are definitely going to make up for it, and we're definitely going to make a profit this year, which is all what matters all in all. So anyway, let's go get this load emptied. Y'all can see up there on my camera, we're all but full. Definitely not enough to make another trip down the field. I mean, there might can fit another 15 or 20 bushels in it. According to my Elite Yield Monitor, we had 226.7 bushels on this grain tank, which is pretty close, I think, from what we had measured before. Everybody's asked, I've had a bunch of people ask about this. This is a Loop Elite Yield Monitor. You can get them, I think, between $4,000 and $6,000. I know in like January, February time frame, during all the farm shows, they run a little bit of a special on them. Not sure what the price of them is now. I have had a few issues and some gripes with this one. I could go over that in another video sometime if y'all want to hear it. And a lot of it may be operator issue, but I do enjoy having it. It lets me monitor the yield going through the field, and kind of know my really high spots, my really weak spots. The moisture sensor is pretty accurate, I think. I mean, it's definitely not going to be good. Gosh, this ground is rough. I definitely don't think it's going to be perfect by no means, but I do enjoy having it and being able to look at it while I'm going through the field. But yeah, Loop Elite Yield Monitor, y'all look them up. You can actually use this as a planter or a drill monitor as well. You just got to buy the kit to convert it with all the sensors and stuff to go in your drill or your planter. And yeah, it's got dark on us, guys, and we're going through some new ground that's been worked, and it's kind of rolling hills and stuff, and it's dark enough and there's enough dust, and the corn is you know, it's not real great, and it's low enough that I'm worried I'm gonna stick a snoot into the ground and tear one up, and it's just not worth doing that. So I'm gonna call it for the night. We'll try it again maybe tomorrow and see what happens. We should be able to rock and roll now, get into some better corn, fill some trucks up, and get these bins full. But I'm gonna call it before we end up wrecking something, and it cost me a lot more money than it gained me by getting it shelled tonight, which is not gaining me anything by getting it shelled tonight. So anyway, we're gonna call it a night. Coleman has just took the truck to get it unloaded. We got the cart is plumb full, and I've got I don't know, probably 100 bushel or something here in the back of the combine now. But anyway, we will catch you guys tomorrow, and we'll get back in the field.